Let's begin.
Thank you for coming, gentlemen. Good afternoon. My name is Conor, and I work in the power division. Do you know that there are almost identical projects in our company? Yes, they are in Oman, a SWAT project and a Barca project. The capacity of these projects is exactly the same, and construction period of them is similar. My objective today is to tell you these two projects and their effects. For your understanding, I divided my presentation into three parts. First, I'd like to show you some basic information about location and capacity of this project. Then, we are going to review some current construction problems and solutions. Finally, I'd like to tell you the effects and influences of this project. My presentation will take about 15 minutes. If you have any questions during my presentation, please hold them until the Q&A session. Now, let's start with some basic information. As you can see from this map, two projects are currently under construction in Oman. One is the SWAT project and the other is the Barca project. Budgets are $207 million and $340 million respectively. And the capacity of these projects is identical at 750 megawatts. And the construction period is 2.5 years, from September 2010 to March 2013. And a trial period is included in the construction period. I'd like to show you roles and responsibilities with partners. As you can see from this diagram, Oman is the owner of these two projects. Suez Energy made a power purchase agreement with the Oman government as an IPP developer. To digress for a moment, IPP is the abbreviation for Independent Power Project. It means that a power plant is built, operated, and managed with private capital. The merits of an IPP are as follows. First, the government doesn't need an enormous budget because private capital funds the power plant. Second, the power plant is operated and managed by experienced and reliable private operators. Okay, let's go back to our main issue. GS and Siemens Consortium made an EPC agreement, EPC contract with Suez Energy. EPC means engineering, procurement, and construction. We, GS are responsible for providing HRSG, balance of plant, and construction. On the other hand, Siemens is responsible for supplying gas turbines, steam turbines, and conducting a trial period. I think that deals with some basic information about this project. Now, let's move on some current construction problems and solutions. Before we carried out installing our pipelines, we found two problems. First, there were conflicts between an existing road and our pipelines. Second, there were a lot of unexpected underground facilities beneath our pipelines. The reasons for these problems were as follows. First, the time for preparing one proposal is normally 4 months. However, for these two projects, we had to submit proposals within 4 months instead of the needed time of 8 months. Due to the lack of time, the site inspection was not detailed enough. Second, at first, designers were more focused on designing than the construction. So we had to modify our initial pipelines. This blue line is our initial pipeline. This red line is our modified pipelines. Surprisingly enough, as you can see from this result table, length, budget, and construction period all decreased. So we saved a lot of money and time. I think that covers some construction problems and solutions. Now, let's turn to the effects and influences of this project. These two projects were the first project in the Middle East, the world's biggest power plant market. If we satisfy our customer, these two projects will be stepping stones towards projects in the Middle East. And we have competent partners. Siemens, one of the most technologically advanced and experienced companies, is our EPC consortium partner. And Suez is the world's largest IPP developer. They have a lot of experience in the Middle East. So we believe that we will be able to learn valuable information for winning future Middle East projects. As I told you, these two projects have identical capacity, and construction sites are very close, only 150 kilometers apart. So we thought that we could get a lot of synergy by designing these two projects as similar as possible. Because if we do so, we could make our facilities and materials simpler, as well as man-hours more flexible. As a result, we could take strong initiative to negotiate with vendors, and we could reduce our man-hours. Eventually, we saved a lot of money and time. That's all I wanted to say about the effects and influences of this project. Okay, that brings me to the end of my presentation. Before I finish, I'd like to summarize today's presentation. First, I showed some basic information. Then, we reviewed some construction problems and solutions. Finally, I told you the effects and influences of this project. I'd like to end by emphasizing the importance of this project. Middle East is the biggest power plant market in the world. If we successfully complete these two projects, they will enable us to build trust in the Middle East market. Now, I would be happy to answer any questions. Do you have any questions? Yes, David.
As you mentioned, the EPC consortium partner, Siemens, what is the EPC?
Are you asking the meaning of EPC?
Yes.
Thank you, David. That's an easy question. EPC means engineering, procurement, and construction. Does my answer satisfy you?
Yes.
Thank you. May we move on to the next question? Yes, Georgie.
Thank you for your presentation, and I fully understood that solar and markup projects are identically the same. And I wonder if there are some differences between those two projects. Could you explain that?
If I understand you correctly, are you asking me the difference between these two projects? Thank you, George. bit difficult question. There is an additional facility for supplying seawater in Barca project. That's why the budget for the Barca project was a bit higher than the budget for the SWAT project. Have I made that clear? Are there more questions? If there are no more questions, perhaps we should stop here. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Thank you very much.
Next.